This panel is going to be on the future of work, but what technologies do you feel are going to have the biggest impact on the way we work over the next decade? So talking 10-year horizon.
When I look at our industry specifically in staffing, there's a lot of old school ways and processes of doing things. Even if you look at something like the resume, like how long has the resume been around? Where there's so many tools nowadays, even if you look at the CRM, of doing old traditional Boolean searches to go find your candidate, and it takes a lot of time to go through that. But if you look at the tools of the future and that are already happening, to be able to pull those resumes without someone having to do so much manual work is a huge opportunity, I think, for the future of work.
Talk to me about how these technologies are going to create jobs and eliminate jobs.
So taking out those automated processes, even things like data entry and putting things in that are just so manual, which if we can have the AI and those automations take that part of the job, we can focus on the workforce and give them more skills to continue to develop.
Do I think that jobs get eliminated? Yeah, but I also think jobs get created.
I've talked to people that are like, the day is going to come where we throw on our VR helmets and off we go to the metaverse. So I'm interested, is this really going to be a thing?
So I think it's just a matter of time for the technology to catch up with the way of the future of work, but I definitely think that's where we're headed.
I think there's certainly opportunity to capitalize on this, but the technology is much further away. When you think about the concept of field workers, especially when they do complex jobs, to be able to have access to more advanced engineers and technicians, it could be a game changer. But I think we've got a lot of runway, 5-7 years. My line of work, I consider our work essential service. I don't think you want us operating a power plant remotely.
Yeah, I would say it depends on the company, the industry, the people are doing your specific work. I think some work, it's really easy to measure if someone's being successful working remote. Other jobs can be a huge challenge to know, okay. That's a big concern for a lot of these corporations is, are my people being productive? Am I getting the results? Well, if it's harder for them to measure, then they might see a business case and demand to be able to bring your people back to work. Where you have the other side on the talent, they're demanding this, and they've been demanding this for a while.
I have to agree with you. I think when it comes to remote working, that you have that option, even if that option wasn't there on the table pre-COVID. Once engineers, once employees got a chance to see if they can operate in a space that they feel comfortable in, I think it's hard to take it off the table now. I think it's hard to go back completely. Yeah.
There is definitely work that is done remote, that is more efficient, quite frankly, than done in person and in teams. But there's also collaboration, problem solving, and the power of being together that is also important. And so I think where everyone's thinking is, well, we'll have the best of both. And I think unfortunately what we've gotten is the worst of both. After the first 6 months, there is data to show that we are not as efficient. We are not able to maintain, and I actually think it'll be interesting. I think we're going to see innovation dip due to COVID, due to what happened for those 2 years.
I think that it's also stifling learning and career advancement. Several of them said that they would question themselves 2, 3, 4 times before they would even ping someone on Teams. Whereas once they return to the office, just swinging by someone's office or cubicle was not, even a second guess. So those are the kinds of things that we've lost, and we're going to see a lot of gap in.
You have to be so intentional as a leader or a manager running a team, or if you see someone struggling. And it can be a challenge because you're being pulled in a lot of directions if you have people insight too. So I think it comes down to intentionality and capacity and planning intentional time to spend with your remote and hybrid team.
This has actually been an ongoing trend, so it's not just the last year thing. With all of these technological solutions that are supposed to speed things up, why are things slowing down?
A lot of companies have multiple platforms that they're using, and why is it taking us longer? I think if you look at it, the software is not all communicating. They're not all, they're in different places and they're different systems. And then, okay, I go to this CRM to get that, but then, oh, this team uses that. So there's not a lot of communication, so it's taking longer in the process. And two, I think another trend has been thinking that if we have a longer interview process, if we get more people involved, then we're gonna get better quality. Where we're dragging the interview process out, we're losing quality candidates because it's taking too much time, especially when it was a very high demanding candidate driven market. We have these long, lengthy interview process.
And at this moment, we're trying to get it into one day. Everything happened in one day.
Wow.
That's awesome.
So we really want to get our candidate in. We want the experience of not missing out on quality candidates. That's key.
So if you're someone that will be hiring in the future, either near, we're talking like a decade span here, or if you're gonna be looking for work, we talked about a lot of changes today. What should these people be doing now to prepare themselves for these coming changes?
I think from a candidate perspective, we talked about the hybrid. It's been a talent-driven market, but with it switching, I think adaptability is key. Hiring managers are looking for that when they're interviewing. Like, are you flexible? Are you saying you're never gonna come into the office? Because, they're seeing it's killing innovation. And, maybe we don't have that policy of you have to come to the office, but is there some flexibility? Am I hearing that from the candidate?
What are you guys doing to attract talent to your organizations?
It's culture that keeps me there.
Yeah, I can agree more with culture. I think, the CIO track today talking about culture, it's how you change we talked about the results of anything, right? Is the foundation of the experience that you give your employees is absolutely key to relationships, to business, to them retaining your talent. So it's absolutely key. And it's how you retain that talent is to have an outstanding culture. And it's such a buzzword too, right? Like, what is culture? How do you keep it? How do you maintain it? And it's not about the perks, it's about the core values. And do you live them? Do you hire and fire by your core values? You can have them on the wall, which we do at Focus GTS. But do you actually live them? And we have what's called a people analyzer. And every quarter we say, are you measuring up to the core values? Are you living them?